All right, let's reconvene here. Our next presenter, Colby Cronn from Evergreen Telemetry, is going to talk to us a bit about wireless sensors, their use for practical field applications and generating solutions. Colby will tell you a little bit about himself and Evergreen and then get into it here. So thank you, Colby.
Yeah. Okay, so my name is Colby. I'm a product engineer for Evergreen Telemetry. I manage the repair Cal lab. I manage all of the electronic production. So just by a show of hands, has anybody heard of Evergreen Telemetry? Okay, and has anybody actually used Evergreen Telemetry? Okay, are you guys current users at this time? Okay. So basically what we do is we manufacture tab equipment that is wireless sensors. So what does that look like for the balancer? Traditionally, I did not use Evergreen Telemetry. I had been trained on short ridge and Alnor equipment. So coming out to Phoenix and being a part of Evergreen and seeing how they do things differently is something that I was interested in, and why. And that's really just because of the things that they were doing that are different, and basically make it easier for the end balancer. So where does this wireless technology come into play, and why do I believe it to be important, and the balancing community believe it to be important? And that's really just the advance in technology and what that looks like in cutting down the job site. So again, I'm not going to, talk about balancing or tell you how to balance. It's just, how does wireless technology fit into the balancing world when it's been so much analog for so long, and where are the benefits associated with making a switch like that. So our product runs off of the Zigbee technology. Zigbee is just some radio communication, right? So we have a parent module, and we have our associated devices report into this parent module. And what does that again look like for the end balancer? A perfect example would be, you can take your real-time data, you've got it on your wrist, you've got it in your hand, you wear it around your neck, you put the flow hood up to your outlet, you take your reading. Traditionally, you drop that to the ground, you go run your ladder, you make your damper adjustment, then you go back and you try to see if you're within your ballpark figured, right? With wireless technology and having that sensor in your hand full time, seeing the change in real time, you basically go up with our product. We have magnets on our hood, so you just drop that up, leave it at the register, you twist your damper, you make your change real time, you do it once, and then you're off to the next outlet. Additionally, same can be applied for humidity, temperature, water, CO2. All the sensors that we have, we can put in other parts of the room, have everything report into one parent device, one zone, and you'll be able to take a look at multiple different areas. So that's just a one-way street, with one example of your hood reporting into one device. But as we start to open things up, if you're doing like a pressure study and you're doing door pressure for an entire hallway or a stairwell, right? We can set all of these sensors in various locations, up to 8 different differential pressure sensors you can set around this room. And as you're making your changes, you can record that data, see that data change in real time, all on one parent device. And what does that look like specifically for our product, which is something as small as this? Okay, so this is a wrist reporter. Our version of an ADM would be our PVF module. Okay, so these two things speak back and forth to each other. If I was to leave it outside the door here, okay, I can basically monitor whatever you set it up for, differential pressure, you've got your hood set to an outlet, and you're walking around and you're still making sense of your job. This is constantly being sensed as far as whatever you set it up to be. And you take this and you're walking around making your your adjustments. So again, with it being wireless, you can have multiple of these set up in various locations of the room. They can all be put into test immediately. Away from them being in test, they also can act as a repeater. So we can relay off of these. So if you have one and you're 100 feet away from me, you've got it into test. Okay. What I can do is I can force this thing out of a test mode and then put that into a repeater. So we can set that in the center of the room. And then I can be over here making my adjustment. But your PVF module is basically reporting into this thing, which sends all of your readings directly live to the RISH reporter. So a lot of things that we hear about, why is the wireless technology important? Not to say that we want to take anybody off of your job, but if instead of putting 2 people on a job, you can now just put that one person because of all of the different sensors, the magnets, making your job easier, faster, safer, has a lot to do with the type of communication that these sensors have with one another, right? Moving forward to that data collection, a lot of it is written down, especially what I did when using a short ridge was I basically had to pencil write everything out. Now, if I want to store long-term data log, you want to set this up for 24 hours, 48 hours, 2 weeks. You can set the products and monitor multiple different zones at the same time, have all of them report into the RISH reporter. It'll accept up to about 100,000 data points, and everything again just works off of the radio technology. So this is going to be accepted into military bases, any type of, I guess, like an intel lab. It's not going to try and steal information back and forth. This is literally just a one-way street with our Zigbit products. And basically what that does is you can report in, it'll accept up to 100,000 different data points. As these are reporting in, that leaves the technician to go to another job, right? Now, of course, you want to be able to monitor that. So you can either A, have it set to report into the device, or you can have that real time sent to your computer. And if you're 50 miles away, you can continuously verify that the system is still set up, your sensors are still reporting in, and have that viewability on your computer remotely. And please feel free to stop me at any point in time and ask questions, because this is not so strict. But so if you guys hear anything that I've said so far, please just interrupt me. I'd prefer it to be that way. So we focus on the Zigbit technology at this point in time. A big question that I get all the time is, when are you guys going to make anything into Bluetooth? Well, that is in the works right now. So does anybody here use AirNav or sort of software for their current balance needs, or is everybody writing it down? Yeah.
I use PSI products.
Yeah.
PSI has the capability for that.
Yeah.
That expanding, telescopic expanding.
Okay.
Similar.
So AirNav and Derek Hedrick is his name. Anyway, there's 2 manufacturers of some equipment or some balanced software that are currently being circulated to different balance groups. And so what has been requested is, can you take your electronic modules and basically make it work with AirNav or some sort of balanced software, to where our technicians can walk around with an iPad and basically have everything reporting in. And in the future, at the end of the year here, we are going to have Bluetooth compatible software. Our product will work with the software, but that's not going to take away from what we have right now, because the big thing is, perfect example, I was in Albuquerque, New Mexico. They said, great. We really like the idea of Bluetooth, but you can't take away the Zigbee line because then we're going to be limited in what type of spaces that we can get into. So Bluetooth is something that we're working on. Again, that will basically just be in supplement of what we already have now, continuing to make wireless sensors that you can set up remotely, you can set up on site, you can run it with a single gentleman on site, or you can run it with multiple guys at the same time. Again, the wireless portion of the tab world has been accepted nicely, but there is still a lot of folks out there that'll look me straight in the face and say, I don't care what you make. I'm gonna use Shortridge till I die. And that's great, you know, because Shortridge has made a fantastic product. That's what I learned to, you know, to deal with on the job sites. But, you know, it really is going to be up to the end user, and I guess the company owner, if wireless sensors are something that they're interested in. So the big benefit about the wireless portion of this is productivity. I think everybody who owns a company wants their technicians to be more productive. But what comes with that is the hesitation of this is now a sensitive tool, and if it goes down, how much loss of productivity do we have in terms of your product maybe being broken or dropped or fragile, because they are small. It's not the brick of the ADM where, you know, that thing just turns on and keeps going no matter if you drop it or not. Any questions so far in terms of wireless or no?
Do you, for that wood, when you put it up for the grill, you got the pole with the stand, or they use magnets?
So we have a stand that you can purchase if you had a hood that does not have the magnets, but when everybody finds out about the magnets, they pretty much just turn away.
It's something you can buy separately to put on to it.
We will just give you the frame with magnets on it. We'll sell that to you. We did have a field kit where you could put the magnets on, and basically that came with a clip, but it became more of a headache than anything else. So we actually tap into the frame. They're drilled in and screwed, and then they're not going anywhere. So we do have a variety of telescopic poles that you can use with these, especially for really high ceilings. But the stand is kind of no longer now that we've done the magnet thing. If this was an appropriate setting, it'd be great to show you what the magnets actually, I mean, you guys could obviously guess what it looks like, but so we've got 4 on this version. I've got a lighter hood in the corner that only has 2. Basically, once you set it, you walk away. Your PVF module is here. You can put the wrist recorder on this and basically just kind of set it and let it go. But the benefit of it being wireless is you put your PVF module up, and you get your wrist recorder and everything connected for the flow hood that you're using. And then you just set this, you walk away, you go find your damper. And then from that point, I mean, it's just set and repeat, set and repeat, set and repeat. And so you can run multiple hoods off the same wrist recorder. If you're doing hood CFM, if you're doing differential pressure, you can set up to 8 different locations. If you're doing like a pressure gradient, or down a hallway, what have you. You can set all of those things up and then basically walk away. So some of the things that we've done is create, I mean, we do our own 3D printing for little gadgets that look similar to this. This doesn't look like much, but if you've done a Velgrid, you know, application with an ADM, it's hanging around. You got to hold it. You're doing 2 hands, right? So we put our PVF module into this clip, okay? Very small amount of tubing, and then you've got your Velgrid extended out. You're doing your filter bank or what have you, right? And then you've got your wrist recorder in your hand, and you're just storing all of your readings as you go. So that's kind of the thing that we're trying to do, I guess, is take things that come from the field, which are all the problems in which that they have found over years and years and years of balancing. And then how can we implement wireless technology as well as adding additional features, accessories to make it that much easier for you guys out in the field. So again, storing all those sensors wirelessly into your risk reporter. How does that data collection come about? Okay, well, up to you, the balancer, no matter if it's wireless, no matter if it's an analog, it doesn't matter. The tab technician is the most important tool that's on the job. That's why you guys are there. So of course, if you see something that doesn't make sense, okay, that's up to the end user to change it. But as you start storing all of those things into this parent device, where does some of that time, save, right? Well, you're not writing anything down, okay? Everything is stored into the module for you. After you're going to go ahead and turn, the raw data in from your job, how can you pull that from the risk reporter, right? So you've got your parent device. It'll connect with your laptop, with your desktop, okay? As you are pulling all of that, you can have all the different locations, saved into your risk reporter. As soon as those are pulled out, it'll automatically populate a CSV file for you. Okay, so if you've got 8 sensors in group 1, okay, each one is going to already be plotted out for you. Sensor 1, sensor 2, 3, 4, and then it's going to tell you in what mode you had them set, right? So if your differential pressure, let's say INW, and then it's going to spit out all of the raw data, time-stamped and dated for you, right? So that's important for a long-term data log. That could be important for you just on the day-to-day if you're doing traverse, So you've got traverse location 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you've got your 16 point and all, 1, 2, 3, 4 already done for you. So it has brought some benefit and some game changers, in terms of what it is that we're doing, why we are doing it. But at the end of the day, it's wireless technology, so it can be finicky, and it's obviously one of those things where if you've got a long time user, specifically a Shortridge, it's hard to convince and to show the product off, to actually see the benefit. So what we do is we'll put the product in your hands for 2 weeks for free. If you like it, great, you can keep it. If you don't like it, then you send it back, and then I'll just ask you what went wrong, why it went wrong, what about our product could you change, or could we change and or do differently. So I stress a lot on the PVF module and the risk reporter because that's 90% of what most people are using on a daily basis. But again, we do humidity, we do various temperature, whether that's water insertion or just like air in the duct. We do CO2, and we're moving forward to make all of these standalone wireless products. So right now they report into the risk reporter. At the end of the year here, this will have its own onboard display. It'll not only do all the functions that it does now from pressure and flow, but it'll also move into doing temperature as well. So you'll have the ability to data log directly into this device. You'll have your own LCD screen so you can make sense of the data that you're seeing without the risk reporter. And where does that benefit come into? So cuts out the cost of having to have the risk reporter, and then you still get all the benefits of being able to save and store data into this simultaneously. Any questions? Yeah. So we manufacture a 1x4, 2x4, 1x5 is standard practice. We've got a frame assembly with or without magnets that'll be made into a 1x4, 2x4, 1x5. Additionally, depending upon the nature of your job, we will custom make a skirt that is very specific to any size that you need. We just need about a 2-week lead time. The seamstress crew that we have is all in-house, so we have complete controllability over getting the skirt done right away and then testing it. For example, Intel in Ireland, they wanted us to manufacture a 4x4. And so we had to manufacture tons of 4x4 skirts and frames for their job. We did that, I don't want to say overnight, because that's unrealistic, but it was rather quick. For people in Wisconsin, it's cold here, right? So since we're talking about hoods, the skirts are going to be clear, but you can also get them in like the ripstop canvas, similar to your short ridge or Almor. Really just depends on the end user. These have been like in its extremely cold environment. The skirts of the vinyl has cracked, so we just make another size or another type of skirt specifically for colder environments, should folks want them. Any questions? Okay, so all of our product is up to the NEB requirement, NEB standards. So all of our calibration certificates, everything is traceable. We send all of our products to, we send one of everything that we've manufactured to NIST. And then we also send all of our calibration equipment in annually. So we do meet all of the requirements in that regard. Out of the people who currently have Evergreen telemetry products in this room, is there anybody who has had wireless issues? Things that they'd like to put on the table, or at least for the rest of the group to hear, so we can elaborate off of?
Ours has always worked fine.
Always worked fine?
Yep.
Okay. There's a big question that we'll get is, what is the usable range, on the Zigbee technology? And in a perfect space, it's about, 50 to 75 feet, which is why folks have asked for the Bluetooth stuff. But if you're going through like a 12-inch block wall, and that's where the damper is on the other side, and then in the adjacent space, you're about 20 feet from that wall, there is a little bit of wireless communication there of an issue, right? Because you're trying to get from this space to the next space, you're trying to go through that wall. But in a perfect environment like this, it works seamlessly. But there is some hiccups there. And so that's part of the reason of writing into the DP function of making it a repeater. So being able to relay those devices, and you can relay more than one. All these DPs can be put into relay mode. So if the test is here at the clock, and for whatever reason we couldn't make it over to the corner of the room, we can daisy chain as many as we needed to get to that parent device to report into. It's a very easy technology as far as the communication aspect of it. Another thing would be when you start to turn on all these sensors, if I've got a set of sensors and you've got a set of sensors and we all turn them on at the same time, they're all searching for the path of least resistance. So my PVF module and wrist recorder, my PVF might connect to your wrist recorder or your wrist recorder, because all it's looking for is path of least resistance. So another question that we get is, can we make this a one-way street where 10 of us are on the site at one time, we all turn on all of our modules at the same time? Can they just only link to the one wrist recorder that I have in my hand at this moment? Yes, they can. That's something that's easy enough, but it's not something that we have done at this moment. Reason being is there's, at least from what's been reported, there's very few times that 10 balancers are on the site at the same time, right? It's usually just a couple guys, or you've got your apprentice, And that's the bummer about the magnets. We hear too many senior guys say like, well, now I'll get rid of my apprentice, and that's not what we want. You know, we don't want their apprentices to go away. You know, they still need to learn the industry and have a job too, right? But it does take away from them needing to be there holding something for you. If you've got wireless sensors, they're small, they're easily, you know, movable, and then you leave your hood connected straight to the grill, right? Yeah.
Question, when the modules go to their own display, the risk reporter is still gonna be.
Yeah, you still use the risk reporter,
Yeah.
but it will allow you to not have to be dependent on it.
Right.
Yeah.
You've got like, you know, backup risk reporter.
Yeah.
Backup water meter, something was wrong, so that's not in. Got that.
Yeah,
Every tech has to create a model.
yeah, okay. Yeah, the risk reporter will still always be part of the product line. It's just going to be the option to either have it as a need for the job that day, or you're just gonna go out and do like a site survey and you just have to run through 30 registers. You can send one guy the hood and the PVF module and have him run it that way. Yeah. Yeah. Additional question?
Tell them a little bit about the water meter, referees and all that.
Yeah, we do have a water meter. It's something, we only have one. And based off NEB requirements, it's now a 250 PSI is all that we sell. So from 0 to 250. It does connect directly to the risk reporter. That is a product that you're not going to be able to hook up multiple of like our other sensors. Once the water meter has been connected, it's basically a one-way street with just that product. So I have the tool with me. So if you guys want to see it, I will be able to set it up, show you and link it. It's a very easy zeroing process. It's all done on the risk recorder. So you just zero it out, you set it up, you move on. It's pretty small, it's light. It does come in its own kit. And again, no difference there in terms of how it connects and interacts with our risk recorder. It's a wireless module. And again, it's a little bit smaller, so it's not going to be quite as cumbersome as the HDM, but a similar concept there in terms of usability. Additional questions? Concerns? Okay, so with our product, like I was saying, we do 2-week free field trials, right? So anything that I have for display today, I will have set up, and I'll have the risk reporter live so you guys can actually see it communicate back and forth, walk around with the product, play with it a little bit should you want to. Everything that we have is available for free field trial. So we put that in your hands for 2 weeks. We want you to use it on the job for 2 weeks. If you call and say, hey, Colby, you know, my job is almost done, but I'm at the end of my free field trial. I still didn't get to use water. We'll just extend it for you. It's no big deal, you know. Additionally, so everything can be done on a free field trial. What does that look like when it comes back to us? So I know that there are other manufacturers and or Cal labs that have pretty long lead times. So if you send something into us for calibration, it's going to be done within 48 hours, or the whole service is free. While it's in-house, we take a look at the product. We make sure that it's 100%, you know, with all the upgrades that are necessary. So if you've got something from 2016, it hasn't been to us since 2016, then it's going to be updated to everything that we've done from then till now. Repairs on the product are about 3 to 5 days in-house. Now that's been a little bit heavier this year, especially at the end of the year with the NEB certification push. We always get overloaded a little bit. but regardless of being overloaded, the calibrations are done within 48 hours or it's free every time. We don't do a whole lot of nickel and diming out of our customers. So if there's anything that your product needs, we usually just end up throwing it in. If there's any way that I can explain away a repair as a warranty repair, I do that, whether it's within or outside of the warranty. Our warranty is 3 years on our product. So that goes for everything from frames, skirts, the hood base, all electronic modules. It doesn't matter what it is, unless you, of course, run it over with the truck and you say, hey, I dropped this from a ladder, but you can tell that it's been run over with the truck. Then that's different. We'll have a conversation about that. But it's not something that, we're trying to nickel and dime on. You'd be surprised, I do get calls often. Hey, my technician needs to send something in. I need a loaner. We provide you guys with loaner tools. Okay, so if you need to send in a whole kit for Cal, you can request a whole kit of loaners from us. If it's for calibration, you're going to pay a fee for the loaners. But if it's for a repair, it will be, the fees are waived if it's a warranty. Again, Pete Secor, the owner, does not nickel and dime folks out of anything. So if I can in any way, shape or form relate it to some warranty type of repair, I do so. And then that saves on the shipping and the loaner cost. And then you guys can still keep moving forward on your job. So again, if you call tomorrow morning and say, I've got X product that's broken, we overnight it to you. And so it'll be at your doorstep the next morning with a return label that you send it back to us. We've already paid for the return label. We give it to you. We bring it in for analysis. Your guy or yourself, you're off to the job the next day. There is no downtime. So that's something that we try to do a little bit differently as well. So to recap a little bit, Evergreen Telemetry, we manufacture wireless sensors. We typically at this moment are doing standard tab work, but that does not limit to the areas that we're trying to do. I don't know if anybody here does much residential, but we are putting together a residential kit. We do a biosafety kit as well. So if anybody's balancing those types of hoods, we have a kit specifically for that. Water, temperature, humidity, yeah, and everything that we have is available for a free field trial.
Do your skirts fit other pieces like a shorter range?
No. So these are all grommets on the bottom of our hoods, and on the 15-inch, it actually has a real base on it. I have an example of another hood that is our 3-pounder, and they're about the same, but there's a little bit of a difference in the airflow. There's also a difference in the fact that the one that I have today does not have a true base on it. So the skirt is just connected directly to the grid. That's the one that I like to classify a little bit more as the Cadillac. That's for not the Apprentice. It's very much more of a gentle, you got to be a little bit more gentle with it. The 15-inch is the workhorse. I mean, you could beat this thing up all day long and it's still going to show up ready to work. So we like to show this one because I can bounce it off the ground. I can throw it across the room for you guys if you really would like me to, and show you that it's just going to get up and stand back up and ready to take a reading. I would not do that with the 3-pounder because the grid itself is exposed. So it's a little bit more of a special thing there. We manufacture 3 hoods. A 15-inch, which I have here. The airflow is from 100 to 2,500. A 3-pounder, which I have in the corner over there. Max airflow on that is 3,000. The minimum is 30. And then we have an 8-inch. And the 8-inch is 15 CFM to 150 CFM. That one is going to be a little bit more for like your bathroom supply and exhaust. And it comes with 2 separate skirt sizes, a 14 by 14 opening. And again, they're pretty short, so getting through partitions is a little bit easier with that hood, especially once all that stuff's up and running. You know, it's getting something like this into the bathroom is a little bit, as you guys know, a little bit of an issue. Our kits come put together in K-tabs 4, 5, and 6. Depending upon what your kit desire is, will depend on what's actually included and the price of your kit. Everything can be purchased all apart. However, you can put it into a kit if you're outfitting a technician. So there are multiple kit types, multiple hood types. Again, depending upon what you guys need out of the kit. So like the most stripped down K-Tab 4 was just going to have a couple electronic modules. The K-Tab 6 is going to have your veil grid, your static tips, every electronic module that we make, and some additional accessories. So additional accessories, what do those look like? We created what is called a door pressure tab kit. And for the folks that have Evergreen here, you might have received an email that that kit became available. Basically what that is we've 3D printed hangers. So we can hang the DP on the door and then get your room to room gradient. And then, like I said, because it's a wireless sensor, you can put those up on all the different doorways in a specific hallway. You can start to make your adjustments and monitor those changes on the entire corridor just on your wrist recorder. So that's the DP tab kit is an additional accessory there. And why does that bring any benefit at all? Well, I guess that you don't have to run under each door and throw your tubing under the door and then get all of that at one time. Now you can set all of these up separately and then let them run. Additionally, with that kit, you get under door probes. The under the door probe is a flat probe that with the DP that sits in a block. You can set and leave it there, or with one of our extension poles, which works with our hoods, you can run up, put the under door probe, store your reading, and you're off to the next door. I don't know if you guys do much with hospital work or specifically like in OR suite with the sliding glass doors. So we have a bendable probe, okay? And that probe, basically, you can bend it into all sorts. The one that I have here has been through the ringer this year. It looks more like a swizzle stick at this point in time, but you can bend that into any sort of that you need, close that door, and then again, get your room to room gradient that way if the door hanger or under door is not an option for you. Anything else? Okay. Yeah, that's kind of a wrap on my part. It was basically what is Evergreen telemetry? What is the wireless technology that we use? And how is it used in our product line? So I've got the products here today. I've got literature to hand out for you guys. And again, everybody can come put their hands on it and start to connect and use these sensors.
We have a big open.
Appreciate that.
We sit down, they come down, you're. Yeah, it's crazy. I think put it over. I'll make it some equal things. And let. Gotcha. I don't know. Then, yeah, quickly for.